Hey guys, what is going on? Daniel here. Now this is the second episode of the series where I'll tell you things you need to know about owning a Wrx or an STI. Now if you haven't seen the first episode, make sure to check it out. It's up in the card up above me, and go check it out, and then you can come back and watch this episode. So the first problem is related to your lighting on your car. So either your headlights, your fog lights, or either the internal cab lights, or even the tail lights at the back. I realized when I bought the car, it was fine. Then every so often, one globe will go out. Then I'll fix that one. Then another one go out. So something's wrong. So I don't know if it's the wiring, or maybe the grounds aren't right, or the fuse, or something like that. To be honest, I'm not too sure what it is, but I'll definitely want to fix that. So I'm always replacing stuff, and I'm getting over it, to be honest. So let me know down in the comments down below if you're having the same issue, and maybe you know what the issue is and what's causing it. So let me know, and hopefully I can solve this issue, and I can then come back to you guys with that solution. And adding on to that one is actually the tail light for the wing of the STI, and on the Wrx as well. You have the light that I'll show you in a second. You have the light on the back of the wing. I've got an STI wing on my Wrx. So the rear light, it never works, or it's very rare that it does work. That's just a common problem that I've heard a lot of people say, and they just said that's just what it is. So once again, I'm not sure. I'm sure it's some wiring issue, so I'm not sure if you can fix it or not. I'm sure you can. So that is another issue that I've noticed. I haven't looked into it much. I just heard a lot of people have the same issue. So it's not a big deal for me. Obviously it does look good when it is working, but obviously that's just something that you just got to deal with if you're not into wiring and that sort of thing. So yeah. As you can see, this is the light that I was talking about. This is the STI wing on Wrx, but even on the Wrx wing, they got very similar to this, and this is very rare that it actually works. So if you can fix that, then that's good. Makes it look a bit better. So that's definitely something I want to get fixed eventually. Just trying to find the time to do so. Now the second thing that you need to know about a Wrx or STI is that inside the engine bay gets hot. And I don't mean just normal engine bay hotness. Like it gets boiling hot. Everything in there is boiling. Every time you lift up the bonnet, your head just burns up, and also the stand that holds the bonnet is boiling hot. So everything in there is boiling hot. So if you're thinking of getting a ram intake, which is like a short like cold air intake, but a shorter one that stays inside the engine bay, I highly recommend that you don't, because of how hot the engine bay gets. I recommend that you get a cold air intake that goes inside where the wheel is, the wheel arch. It gets all the cold air from there. Obviously it's a cold air intake, because just in the engine bay it is so damn hot that you want to minimize the heat that's gone into your engine as much as possible. So that's what I recommend. Now the third thing you need to know is actually the gearbox on the Wrx. So if you're going to buy a Wrx or an STI, this is something you got to know before buying it, just so if you're thinking of having crazy power or anything over, let's say 200 kilowatts, 250 kilowatts, you probably should go for the STI, because the Wrx has a horrible transmission. It is very weak. It's known as the glass transmission. So you can't really be having high horsepower or kilowatts here in Australia powered engines, because of the gearbox or transmission is not strong whatsoever. It doesn't really take much to blow it, and it's very fragile. I haven't had any issues with it. I don't really have much power. I think I have 140 kilowatts. I think that's 190 horsepower, so not much whatsoever. So definitely think about, if you're getting a Wrx but you're thinking to get high horsepower numbers, I seriously suggest either upgrading your transmission, getting it rebuilt, or you can get a STI transmission, like swap it out. That it does get pretty expensive, so I do suggest, if you have the money, I do suggest getting an STI over the Wrx. But if you're just thinking just to have lower numbers, you can get a WRX that'll be just fine. Now I'll give you a little bonus tip. I'm sure you know this, but with the WRX or STI, it is very known that they like oil. So I suggest that you check your oil maybe 1 to 2 weeks just to keep an eye on things, as they do like using a lot of oil and they just vanish for some reason. So definitely check it out, maybe every 2 weeks. But if you have some sort of leak every time you park up and you see a little puddle or just a couple drops, check it every week. Or if you're going through the mountains or a track day, check it after that day as well, once it's all cooled down, just to make sure that there's enough oil in there and you don't run dry and risk blowing your engine, because that's the last thing you want. Now, if you are enjoying today's content, make sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe as well, and push the post notifications button. That will use that up to date with my latest uploads, as I'll be doing a couple of episodes in this series. And also let me know in the comments down below what you think of today's episode, and also any issues that you've come across with you owning a WRX or STI. If you want to see another one of these videos, you can either see episode 1, which is over here, or I'll have over here the 3rd episode of the series for you to have a look.